Michael, you've been harping about the UCI enacting greater safety measures for years now, saying things like they should put nets on the sides of technical descents so that riders like Remco Evenepoel don't fall off the side and nearly ruin their careers, going as far as saying riders should be essentially encased in roll cages. And I have to admit it, you have completely convinced me. And finally, the UCI enacts some common sense reform that will save lives. And not only that, make the sport much more equal. Because that's what we're going for here, is equity, right? Equity between like sprinters and climbers.
Is that the goal?
Everybody wants equity, and this is exactly the kind of equity that we need. Enough with riders like Chis Froome breaking away on the top of a mountain and using the Supertuck to win a stage at the Tour de France, or Matej Mohoric dangerously using the Supertuck to win the Junior World Championships. He wasn't 18 years old. He shouldn't be allowed to risk his life that way. And do not get me started on this riding by yourself with your forearms on the top of the bars arrow type position. We have seen Peter Sagan use this multiple times to win races like the Tour of Flanders and a stage at the Giro d'Italia. This position allows one rider riding by themselves to ride a little bit faster than a group of riders chasing behind, and it is completely unfair. Not only unfair, but also extremely dangerous, as we've seen thousands, if not millions, of crashes over the course of cycling's history using this position. Finally, the UCI has taken measures to stop this nonsense and make bike racing better, more bunch finishes, less dramatic, solo wins, less daredevil descending. It is going to be really great having these rules finally in place.
Ian, I really hope that I sense sarcasm in your voice there, because I couldn't disagree more with you. These reforms, I'm beginning to think maybe this is just a really elaborate April Fool's joke from the Swiss organization of the UCI. They're just yodeling with laughter up in their chalet in Switzerland, waiting to tell everybody that it was all just an elaborate ruse on April 1st.
When do these rules go into place on April 1st?
They go into place on April 1st, so I'm told.
This is definitely elaborate. April Fool's ruse.
It could be, but no, you bring up an interesting point. I have been beating the drum of safety in the peloton since I started at FloBikes. It's a dangerous place to be. There are so many hazards on the roads, and sure, having your forearms on the bars, that can be dangerous if you go over a crazy pothole in a bike race. You know what the UCI should do about that? Pave the freaking pothole. That's how you improve safety. You fix the roads, you fix the barriers. Seeing Chloe Dygert's crash in the World Championships where the barrier stopped just short of the exit of the corner, that's so stupid. That is the UCI's fault. That is the race organizer's fault. That is the things that need to be fixed. Personally, if you want to improve descending safety, don't ban the Supertuck. Make every rider wear a neck brace. It's a good idea, because then everybody has the same drag in their neck brace. There could be, a tech war in, trying to create the most aerodynamic, the lightest neck brace out there, the one that restricts your breathing the least. I would vote for that. I would vote for every rider wearing a neck brace before they ban the Supertuck.
Michael, we all know these so-called best bike riders in the world need someone to look out for their safety and let them know when they're riding their bikes in an unsafe manner. Furthermore, it's been a long time since the UCI has gotten the kind of positive press that they need for enacting reforms that everybody agrees upon. This is a sport steeped in tradition, and progress is the last thing we need to further popularize the sport and further globalize it outside of Europe. The next thing you know, there's going to be people all over the world thinking bike racing is cool and wanting to jump on the bandwagon. We want to keep the bike racing fandom where it belongs, in France Europe, and Italy with the old dudes.
Just one note I feel obliged to say about aero tucking. Ian and I, we've been aero tucking around Austin out of petulance and immaturity. But generally speaking, Ian, do you ever aero tuck on training rides?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, Ian aero tucks on training rides. I personally value my teeth, value the safety of those people around me. You know, I aero tucked on training rides when I was a pro because you had to be prepared to do that in bike racing. Now that I am not trying to be fast on a bike anymore, I take it easy on the downhills. I think that there's a time and a place for it. In World Tour bike racing, I think that ultimately it's up to the riders to decide their fate on this matter, because it's up to them. Taking away aero tucking is going to take away opportunities for certain riders to win bike races, and that is not something that should be taken lightly. Neither is the rider safety. Until I am hearing all of the riders come out in support of these safety reforms, I'm gonna poke holes in them though. And right now, not all the riders are in support. So, again, not to give you the wrong impression, go out, ride your bike, be very safe and careful when you ride your bike. But then, let's enjoy some good gloves off bike racing and let the professionals do it. Also, let Ian Billy do it.